What's going on, YouTube family? Game King 504 is back with another video, and welcome back to the Game Kingdom. Man, last month was March, and it was a heck of a month for video games. A lot of hot new releases came out, and we're gonna recap them all in this video right here. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed your Easter. I sure as heck did. But nonetheless, let's go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, because this last month was a doozy of some new releases. So grab some popcorn and let's check out the hottest new games that came out last month in March. First up this month is a game called the Mobius Machine that was released on the 1st for the PC, Xbox Series S and X, and the PlayStation 5 consoles. This is a Metroid side-scroller 2D and 3D type of game where you're going to be going against brutal enemies using your blaster, exploring underground, floating fortresses, and even going into sea battles as well to figure out what's going on in this planet and how you can get off of it. In this game, you're going to be carving your way and immersing yourself in the environment, which looks absolutely crazy, and it just looks like a really fun game to play, but will really take you into a world and really feel that you're a part of it with the 3D visuals and the 2D gameplay that goes along with this. It's a great combination, and you're going to have some crazy epic boss battles and also getting some crazy gear along the way. Check out the Mobius Machine if you haven't done so already, and gear up because we got a lot more games along the way on this video. A new isometric role-playing game that was developed by Fool's Theory and published by 11-Bit Studios dropped on March 4th for the PC. Unfortunately, Xbox and PlayStation players are going to have to wait some time before it drops on them. This is the Thaumaturge, if I said that correctly, because I've been butchering the heck out of this game. And this game is where you take control of the character by the name of Victor Suzuki, a detective that returns to Warsaw, which is a supernatural city, in 1905 to investigate why his father died. And this game has a lot of dark undertones where you play in chapters and using your character with using even role-playing tactics, skill tree, and different combat techniques. You're also going to be completing different quests, interacting with NPCs, and also using your tactics to avoid or engage in those fights along the way. It has a lot of dark undertones that gives you such an enormous feeling of just what can be lurking around the corner, and with those dark undertones immerses that player into the story that makes it oh so much better, and all the choices that you can make also will make the story interactively become different in the end. The Thaumaturge looks to be a shape of a great game going thus far, and I hope that Xbox and PlayStation players get to enjoy this sooner down the road. But for those of you who are on the PC, you're in luck and enjoy yourself because this game looks to be really, really cool. Check out the Thaumaturge. Now, my love for simulation games has grown really rapidly over the past couple years because, well, some of the simulation games that we've been getting has actually been quite fun, and it really expands your mindset and gives you a whole new outlook into video games. This new one that was just dropped on March 5th of this year, coming for the PC and all major consoles, is called Expeditions, a MudRunner game. Now, this game is brought to us by Focus Entertainment and Saber Interactive that developed and published it, and it's part of the MudRunner spin-off games that we've been getting over the past couple years. Unlike the previous games that we've gotten in the series where you usually transport cargo, in this one you're literally taking your all-terrain vehicle and exploring the world around you, recruiting non-playable characters to aid you in different missions and objectives that you're going to be completing throughout the entire world that you're going to be around. You get to explore places like Arizona, Little Colorado, and the Appalachian Mountains in Central Europe. And you get to use different tools such as like a sonar detector. You can use such as things like expedition. You're going to be using metal detectors and camera drones that allow you to scope the entire environment and find valuable caches that you're going to be needing to advance and improve your overall base operations. And you just get to enjoy the scenic view of the world around you. If you've never really been a big fan of simulation games, I do give at least a highly recommendation on this one because, well, it's just a nice chill game to go around, and of course if you don't really travel too much, well, you get to travel in this one even though it's not really where you have to spend a lot of money. Check out Expeditions, a MudRunner game. Alright, so for all you horror fans out there that are dying to get that itch scratched for a brand new horror game into their library, you're in luck, because on March 5th, released for PC and every major console out there, was a new game called The Outlast Trials, which is actually a part of the Outlast series of games that have been coming out for the past few years. Now, unlike the last few horror games that we got in the part of this series, in this one you can play the game solo, or you can actually play it with 3 other people alongside you for multiplayer concept mind of gameplay. In this one also, you're going to have 4 distinctive classes with unique different abilities and a skill tree to upgrade throughout the vast world that you're going to be in. And I'll tell you this, I played the Outlast games not entirely because I was too scared or creeped out by them all, but these games give a whole new definition when it comes to horror and just survival tactics. Because guess what? You can't really even kill the monsters in this game. The whole point is to avoid them. If you've never played any of the Outlast games and you want something that's really unique, especially for the fact of having some friends along with the ride, go ahead and check out the Outlast Trials. That is out now, and you can play it for any console you want and also for the PC. It's wild. Check out also the previous Outlast games if you haven't checked those out as well. And be prepared because they are creepy. Have you ever had a point in your life where you just woke up with your head hurting and you're disoriented and you just have no idea where you are, but yet it seems surreal and familiar? Well, maybe you probably haven't, but in this game you're going to be doing such those events. So in this one, get ready for a crazy ride, because in Reveil, that was released on March 6th for PC and every major console out there, you get to experience such events. Now, this game is focused on storytelling, different puzzle solving tactics, and overall exploration of the world around you, which is going to be quite disturbing, because in this psychological thriller type of game, you're going to be seeing a bunch of confusing and psyche demanding types of images that will kind of blow your mind in some way, shape, or form. You're going to be using the character by the name of Walter Thompson, where he's confused and trying to understand where his daughter and his wife are at, and trying to questionably get these clues and try to solve them as he explores the world around him. And you're going to be seeing some very interesting images as you go and explore the world around you. Now, being a new survival horror and psyche kind of guy that I am nowadays with these types of games, it's very interesting on where these games have evolved with the unique visuals and the overall aspect of where these games can take you into the world around you and just immerse you in such a way that you never thought you can be immersed into before. If you're looking for another type of horror game that gives you a crazy psyche type of trip, check out Reveil. That's out now for every major console and PC, like I said before. Back into the early and even all the way up to the late 2000s eras, first-person shooter games were all the rage. You had games like Halo, Battlefield, and even Call of Duty, which we all know and love. But there was another series of video games that really didn't get as much love as they should have, and we're starting to show them love now. S.T.A.L.K.E.R Legend of the Zone Trilogy was released on March 6th for the Xbox Series S and X consoles and the PlayStation 5. In these games is an alternate version of present-day Chernobyl exclusion zones up in the Ukraine, which pretty much takes place in the year 2006, where you use a character by the name of Stalker, where basically trespassers and go on this adventure to explore the exclusion zone and to figure out what's going on with this strange phenomena where there's multiple anomalies, different types of artifacts, and even mutants that are coming out because of the biological and chemical processes that have been going on in the area. Of course, as we all know, the Chernobyl events were real and is still permanent to this very single day. Now, these games really showcase what it is to be in that area, but in alternate version, of course, like I previously mentioned. And these games really were pretty much cool from back in the day. You get 3 games called Shallow Chernobyl, Stalker Clear Sky, and Stalker Call of Pripyat, which are pretty much going to be something you're going to really enjoy in these series of games, and it makes you feel like it's the late 2000s all over again. Check out S.T.A.L.K.E.R Legends of the Zone Trilogy, that's out now. As Dusk Falls was actually a 2022 original release game that was on Xbox Series of consoles and the PC, and this was actually an Xbox exclusive for quite some time. Well, PlayStation fans can now say they get a chance to experience it because on March 7th, As Dusk Falls was released for the PlayStation family of consoles. In this game that received very positive reviews, it plays where it revolves around interactive storytelling and using graphic novel techniques and actual graphics to engage players to make a lot of different choices. So games such as like The Quarry and the Dark Picture series of games, every choice that you make will determine how the game will play out. So if you lie or tell the truth, if you make a vast big decision that will impact all those around you, will make the game feel so different each and every time and end in a lot of different ways. Your story will be determined by the choices that you make in this game, and I love that so much. I mean, those will make you feel so immersed into the story and to the world around you that every choice that you can make will determine what your consequences will be later. As Dusk Falls is finally out, and please check it out, because I would tell you that with that type of gameplay, you're going to love it. And you even get to have cooperative gameplay with it as well. Now, I've grown fond of simulator type games over the past couple of years that they've been getting so popular. And in this one, yeah, I want to live my dream as a taxi cab driver. And if you want to do the same thing, Taxi Life, a city driving simulator, was released on March 7th for Xbox Series S and X, PC, and the PS5. In this game, you're going to get to explore the city of Barcelona, which is really honestly accurate, and of course, being a cab driver. You're going to be dropping off customers to their unique locations and having some cool dialogue conversations while you're driving the customers to where they want to be. Of course, you got to drive it safe and carefully to make sure that you get paid for it too. But you also get to explore the world of Barcelona as a whole, and it's pretty doggone, like I said, accurate. You even get to see people walk across the street. You get to see historical figures and different types of statues, and the world itself can be very much immersive, especially if you want to visit Barcelona but you don't have the money for it. You get to live it in this game. And you also, like I said, get to live your dream as being a cab driver like myself maybe one day. Check out Taxi Life, a city driving simulator. Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley is a rich adventure musical game where you take control of the character by the name of Snufkin, who's restoring the valley and helping those critters and characters to feel happy again and calling their place home. In this beautiful, crafted, and just Nordic type of game that it may look and feel as, you're going to be basically distracting the police officers, knocking down misplaced statues, and pulling out signs to rigorously restore nature and the inhabitants that live into it to make them feel happy about living there again. Now, to be honest with you, you're going to be also using music in this game, which is pretty cool. But in all honesty, I probably wouldn't go for this one for myself. But for those of you who are watching this video and looking at this game and seeing how it may be, it might be something you want to play that's a little bit different than your normal play style and genre of video games that you may have before. So check out Snufkin, Melody, and Moominvalley. Again, if I said that right. This game has been on everybody's radar, and we finally got it on March 8th, and I'll tell you, it's a hassle to even find a copy right now for the Nintendo Switch. This is Unicorn Overlord, and it was released on March 8th for all major consoles. Now, the Switch version is literally getting sold out everywhere because it feels like a Switch game to me, in all honest opinion. But this game is developed by Vanillaware, and if you know anything about Vanillaware, you know that the quality is going to be out freaking standing. Now, in this game, and being that it's a tactical role-playing game, if you play games like Fire Emblem or even such games like Dusk-Falls, you might have similar feels and understanding of what this game can really be, and especially with the fact that it's being also published by Atlus and Sega worldwide. This game here is going to be a fever pitch for so many on their radar as a collectible. This is going to even possibly be Game of the Year nominee all by itself, just by how cool it looks, the wide range of classes that you're going to be encountering, the type of dialogue, the upgrading of the characters. I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like it's Fire Emblem on steroids with how beautiful it looks. I kept this on my radar since last year when it first got unveiled, and I finally got my copy not that long ago, and I am so hyped to jump right into it, and I know there's a lot of people talking about this game. check out this game here if you have not done so already. And if you're new to tactical role-playing games, give this one a shot, and I bet you 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, you're gonna fall in love with tactical role-playing games all the more and better. Unicorn Overlord is out now. Coming off the tail of the original game that came out years ago called Valiant Hearts: The Great War, the story continues with some new and familiar faces in this sequel called Valiant Hearts Coming Home. This puzzle-solving side-scroller with some graphic novel type of gameplay style and look, where you're going to control 4 different characters by the name of James, George, Ernest, and Anna, who go through the struggles of World War I to save as many lives as they possibly can, and telling their tales of some sorrow and some happy moments as well. I personally never played the original game, so I can't really give my full-blown judgment or even how my excitement can really be about this game, but it has a unique feel and look to it that really showcases, well, it's something to get into if you've been into those kinds of games before. The original game was actually considered a great game as a whole, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to use that to make this game feel and be just as good. If you haven't played this, I would highly recommend checking out the first one so you can kind of get a feel for it, but I'm pretty sure if you did play this game and enjoyed it, you're going to love Valiant Hearts Coming Home. WrestleMania is just right around the corner, and me being a huge wrestling fan, I'm all about the wrestling video games. This one here is literally upping the bar in quality for wrestling games going forward. And on March 8th, we got WWE 2K24 released for all major consoles and the PC. This is being regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest wrestling game ever made. I mean, it showcases all of your favorite wrestlers from past and present, and you get to do so much in here. I mean, the customization tools are literally through the roof. You can make your own show and manage it. You can make your own belt, make your own wrestler. I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are endless in this game, and you get to play with all of your favorite wrestlers. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, John Cena, Kevin Owens, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and so many others are on the roster, and this game is literally out here to kick everyone's butt. I've played so many wrestling games from past and present, and I mean, I can't say it enough that this game has literally done me in as being the greatest wrestling game I've ever seen. I truly recommend you getting into this game. If you are not even a wrestling fan, just check it out, because it will literally bring you up to speed if you've never been a wrestling fan, or if you're an old fan, check this game out, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna want to play this. Get it today. WWE 2K24 is out now. Anybody who is anybody knows how important and influential the Contra series of video games has been over the many years. I mean, this series has been around since the 80s, so nobody should ever say they don't know what Contra is. A new installment called Contra Operation Galuga, which was released on March 12th for all major consoles and the PC, came with a new reimagination of what the original game was all those years ago. In this one, you get to have explosive cooperative combat up to 2 players in the story mode, or even 4 players in the arcade mode, which is absolutely outstanding to see. With modern day graphics and sounds, some crazy new stages, awesome new enemies and bosses to go up against, and some different new and updated weapons and play mechanics, you get to enjoy Contra in a whole modern new style that has fun for you and your friends, or even your family, to play like it used to be in the 80s. If you've never played a Contra game in your life, I mean, literally, I would honestly go and check out some of the older ones, but if you remembered yourself back in the day, or if you've never played it before, check out Contra Operation Galuga, that is out now for all the major consoles and the PC, and it's going to be a grand blast of a good time. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is literally Star Wars fans' dream of playing all over again after all these years, and it was released on March 13th for every major console out there, and also the PC. I mean, remembering these games when I was a kid, It literally gave me the nostalgia kick I've been looking for, and it's so awesome to see that these two classic games all in the one awesome package are getting the love that it really does deserve. I mean, literally, it comes with 64-player combat online support, which is huge from compared to what it used to be back in the day. There's some key features into these games as well, with like such a campaign mode and even a galactic conquest mode where you can devise your strategy, recruit troops, and just do tactical invasion of conquering the galaxy. And you get to expanded hero assault, which is basically where you get to play on all types of different maps with everybody joining the fray. I mean, it's literally what we've been wanting for in Star Wars games for all these years, and we're getting it into the original 2 classic Battlefront games. It's nice to see that they're getting the love they truly deserve, and I hope that everyone loves them since it's been out since March 13th. Check it out if you haven't done so, and if you're not even a Star Wars fan, who cares? Just check out these games because they're literally a ball of fun. Gylt is a survival horror game that was ported over to the Switch and released on March 14th, and the original release of this game came way back in 2019 for the Google Stadia, which was a joy to have back in the day. But it was also ported to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and the PC back last year. In this game, the whole entire gameplay revolves around you using the character by the name of Sally, who sneaks past different enemies and escaping this nightmare while looking for your missing cousin. Using your trusty flashlight, you're going to be trying to discover what happened to your missing cousin and battling against these unique and nightmarish creatures that you're going to be trying to escape from throughout the game, which cause nightmarish just craziness into your world. Now, the cool thing about this game is that, well, you get the first take it on the go with you, and it's a survival horror game, and those things going together make a unique combination. Check out Gylt if you haven't played it before. Back in the year 2018, Kingdom Come Deliverance was first released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC. Well, we're getting a Switch port that was called Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition on March 15th. This game shows a bunch of new content into the original game that was released, and you get to take it on the go with the Switch. It takes place in the year 1403 in the Kingdom of Bohemia, where you take control of the character by the name of Henry, whose family is slaughtered in a war, and it's up to you to bring justice for your family by staging a resistance. I personally have never played Kingdom Come, and it's always been on my list of games that I wanted to get from my collection and to experience old-fashioned, just medieval times of war and historical fighting combat. It looks really interesting, especially being that it's on the Switch. Now, that's kind of the only problem I kind of feel for it, but overall, it looks to be basically the same game that it was all those years ago, but with some added content, and you can take it any way you want to because, well, it's on the Switch. Check out Kingdom Come Deliverance, the Royal Edition. Outcast: A New Beginning is literally a 20-year game in the making since its original release into the series back in 1999. On March 15th, it was released for the PC, Xbox Series S and X, and the PS5. And in this game, you're going to be taking control of the character that's been revived and was in the previous installment by the name of Cutter Slade, where you've been revived by the mighty Yods, or I would think basically they're gods of that world, onto the alien world of Adelpha, where you're finding that the Talons, the world or culture that has been in that planet and that civilization for so long, has been enslaved, and their world has been stripped of all their natural resources, and an invading robot force is there to take over. It's your job to make sure that they get themselves out of there and overall bring back peace and salvation to this civilization. The original team that was behind the first Outcast has come back to bring this fascinating and unique and beautiful world to us in this new installment, and I literally cannot wait to jump into this. I mean, I bought the collector's edition because it looked that good, and I'm actually kind of upset that I never knew these games even existed to begin with. I'm actually going to try to find a way to play the original game just so I can understand exactly what's going on. But this game looks to be awesome, it's vibrant, it's colorful, and it just has so much going for it. If you've never played the original games from back in the day, I would say probably go ahead and join me in playing them just so we can understand what these are. And Outcast 2 is out right now, Some weeks have passed since the Xbox announcements talking about the exclusivity of games and how they're going to be transferring over to PlayStation at some point in time. Well, on March 19th was one of those very games that they were talking about and being put onto the PlayStation systems. And this game here that I'm talking about is called Hi-Fi Rush. So PlayStation fans can rejoice about this game being onto their systems. This is a rhythm-based action game that was released last year that was developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Softworks. In this game, you're going to be taking the character called Chai, and he's supposed to be a future rock star where you're going to be fighting against different types of robots and all types of different enemies by using rhythm as a whole base of the gameplay. The soundtrack is amazing in this game, the colorful cast of characters, the cel shading graphics that make the game just overly pop in so many different colors and aspects, and overall it's just a really fun game to play. I've been playing this game and it has been quite an enjoyable experience, and I do highly recommend to anybody who likes not just rhythm-based games, but overall just the colorful aspect of this that will really immerse you into it all together, and the story is just quite fun to get into. The soundtrack alone will make you just jam and groove all day long just to listen to it if you want to listen from the main menu screen. If you have not checked out Hi-Fi Rush because, well, it was an Xbox exclusive, but now you have a PlayStation, this is a great time to check out Hi-Fi Rush onto systems all over the place. Of course, being that baseball season is just getting started, that means a new baseball game is coming out. And one of the biggest, if not the biggest baseball game that is available to fans all around the world, it has dropped on March 19th for all major consoles, and this game was MLB The Show 24. Now, a lot of old features and some new features are added into this year's game to hype up the experience all the more and better than it's ever been before, with, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being the showcase star player for the cover, and, of course, this year's some new improvements did come into it. This is the first year that you're going to be able to see a career mode with female players called Road to the Show. Women Pave Their Way, and also the Negro Leagues are also being back into the fold, where you get to see players like Buck Leonard, Josh Gibson, Hank Aaron, and Tony Storm at launch, and more being added later on into the year. There is also an entire story mode that's talking about Derek Jeter's career. It really showcases how this game has really evolved over the many years. For all the baseball fans of the world, pick up MLB The Show 24 on any major console you would like to play on. Back in the year 1992, survival horror games weren't all the rage, but they were a starting point, especially with this particular game called Alone in the Dark, and for the past 3 decades have entertained fans around the world with a survival horror narrative and overall storytelling, alongside games with Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Well, a reimagination of that exact game that came out back in the day is being remade and released on March 20th for the PC, Xbox Series S and X, and the PS5 with the exact same name. In this single-player narrative set back in the years 1930s, you're going to be able to play as Edward Cranberry or Emily Hartwood, who are going to their Seto mansion to uncover the secrets that are within it, and also for the disappearance of Jeremy Hartwood, who is Emily's uncle. Now, I've never really was a big horror fan up until the past few years, especially during the COVID era. But this game here, being that it's a reimagination of the original game, enticed me more and more because, well, the Alone in the Dark games do look interesting. Being that we're getting a remake of the original just makes it seem like, you know what, I should jump into it. You get the third-person over-the-shoulder perspective like the Resident Evil games have been starting to look more and more nowadays. And, of course, regular combat is going to be used with either using a firearm or different melee weapons that you're going to be going against different enemies. If you've never experienced Alone in the Dark and always wanted to jump into it, this is a great starting point because, well, you get to see where it all started with a brand new imagination and modern-day look and feel. Check out Alone in the Dark. I'm pretty sure around the world there's not a single Final Fantasy fan out there, either whether it's from back in the day or how the old school games used to play or the new style of games that we're getting nowadays, and especially with the fact that, well, we just got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth last month. We're getting another release of a Final Fantasy game called Final Fantasy XIV, but only for the Xbox Series S and X that can join those who are playing on the PlayStation 5 version. This being that this game here is where you get to jump into a massive multiplayer experience with players around the world and immerse yourself in the world with different skill trees, classes, and different enemies to go up against. It really shapes up to be something truly remarkable because this game has been going strong since 2013. Now, if you don't know the backstory about this game, where this game actually replaced the failure that was originally released back in 2010 and it was revamped for a new version, and since then this game has been giving fans around the world so much enjoyment and so much playtime, it's not even funny. I'm not a huge fan of MMOs because honestly, once I jump into them, I get stuck on them. So I hate to play those types of games because, well, I want to play so many other games. But if you're into those MMO RPG type games, Final Fantasy XIV is the game to go on. Like I said, it is already on PlayStation 5, but we're finally getting it on March 21st for the Xbox Series S and X consoles. If you're on those, hey, guess what? Feel free to jump right in and enjoy the Final Fantasy like it's never been before in this massive multiplayer game. So this next game I'm talking about here isn't necessarily a new release, but rather a port over to the PC that was released on March 21st. And this is a sequel to the original game that came out way back in 2017 called Horizon Zero Dawn, with the new release called Horizon Forbidden West. Now, this game was originally released back in the year 2022 and is an action role-playing game that was developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. This game is set where it is in the post-apocalyptic version of the Western United States, where you take control of the character by the name of Aloy, who goes and is searching for the world that's around her and uncovering the secrets that may have caused that exact apocalyptic event that happened all those years ago. And you're going to be taming different actual robotic animals. And overall, the game is really interesting. The story is fun-filled. It gives you a whole new perspective of what Aloy is going through in the world itself. The colors are great. The mechanics are fun. The gameplay is immersive. And overall, it is a popular game, even though it's been overshadowed many different times. If you've never played this series before, I do highly recommend checking out the original game that came out, and it is also on PC, before you jump into this one. But if you have played and you are also on the PC, you can rejoice because you get to enjoy the graphical marvel that this is as a whole entire game, being that it's on PC, coming from the PlayStation 5 and the PS4. Jump into Horizon Forbidden West if you haven't done so already. Now, there was no way that you thought that Mario was gonna only be the one character in the Mario series of characters and games that we've been getting that was gonna have her own game. Well, since 2005, Super Princess Peach dropped on the DS, we hadn't seen Princess Peach get her own game. Well, on March 22nd, Princess Peach Showtime was released for the Nintendo Switch. This game is where you're using the main protagonist, otherwise known as Princess Peach, and you're being at this place called Sparkle Theater that you were invited to, and the wicked sorcerers by the name of Grape and her minions take over the theater, and it's up to you and the sentient ribbon that you rescued called Stella to stop her. Now, in this game where Princess Peach, as we always have pretty much known that she's always having to be rescued from Mario, well, she's gonna actually be the main person to stop this from ever happening and saving the world itself. She gets different unique abilities like changing forms to Ninja Peach, Cowgirl Peach, Kung Fu Peach, Detective Peach, and even Sword Fighter Peach, and some others out there, where you're going to traverse through the different levels. And of course, as has always been with Mario games, platforming is going to be involved, and you interact with different characters and the objectives that are around you. If you've never played any Peach game, well, because, well, there's only 2 of them, this is a good one to jump into, and it looks pretty much fun, I would say so for myself, because, well, who doesn't like a good Mario game nowadays? Check out Princess Peach Showtime. That's out now for the Switch. March 22nd was a big day for video games because a lot of major releases dropped all at once. Alongside Princess Peach was the sequel to the original game Dragon's Dogma that came out way back in 2012, called Dragon's Dogma 2 for the PC, Xbox Series S and X, and the PlayStation 5. In this game, where it's fantasy themed, where you take control of your customized character in this open world hunting the dragon that chose them as the Horizon, and this overall completing different quests, similar to what if you ever play a game called Monster Hunter. It's kind of like where you gain new equipment and you gain allies called pawns. Now, Dragon's Dogma 2 is shaping up to be at least a Game of the Year contender, where a lot of people are just enjoying the game as a whole, including myself. I played the original Dragon's Dogma game, and it was a fun-filled adventure that I hadn't seen in quite some time in a video game, especially being that, well, it's similar to like what Monster Hunter is in some way, shape, or form. You get to use different abilities, you get to go against different characters and different enemies all around the world. That is beautiful. And for those of you who might look at it like another Dark Souls type game, you can probably put it in the same fold. If you ever wanted to experience a fantasy themed game that gives you just this overall immersive world to jump into in different cast of characters and overall using the customization to your advantage, check out Dragon's Dogma 2 that's released everywhere. Now, I'm a big fan of samurais and Japan culture, and there's games out there that really showcase that, such as Ghost of Tsushima. Well, a new samurai type game has been released on March 22nd alongside massive releases like Dragon's Dogma 2 and Princess Peach Showtime. For the PlayStation 5, this action role-playing game called Rise of the Ronin that was published by Sony Interactive and developed by Koei Tecmo's Team Ninja, so you know it's going to be good. Rise of the Ronin is where you take control of your customized character with a wide variety of different weapons to go through the story in the Edo period of Japan. Now, there's going to actually be story choices at key moments that affect the story and fighting against different characters, where you also get to choose a side to fight against or to go with. Basically, that makes the whole game experience that much different, and the endings are going to be different as well. You get to travel on horse, you get to use a grappling hook, and even a glider, which is crazy cool. And there's actual multiplayer mode in this as well. This game is shaping up to be another Game of the Year type, and I hope it does get some great play. It's already received some pretty positive reviews, and if you like samurai games and like Ghost of Tsushima, Shadows Die Twice, Sekiro, or even some Dark Souls type look games, this might be something for you. Check out Rise of the Ronin on the PS5. Now, I told you that March 22nd was a big day for video game releases, and there was a lot of them. Well, this particular one I'm about to talk about next, I think was a little overshadowed due to the fact that the other three were just big AAA titles. This is the Legend of Legacy HD Remaster, and it has been ported over from the original 3DS release back in 2015 to now PC, PS4, PS5, and the Switch. If you played the original game back on the old system, you're pretty much gonna know what to expect in this one, with some graphic overhauls, some dynamic gameplay mechanics may have changed, and also have been brought to some attention as to making sure that the game, which was originally on the 3DS, the dual screen mechanics are going to be incorporated a little bit differently into the Switch or the PlayStation 4 and 5 and PC versions of it. This game is where you take control of 7 different characters as they explore the island of Avalon, where they have different statistics. You're going to be going dungeon crawling, acquiring new weapons and materials to upgrade your class characters, and overall just experience the world around as a whole joyful character, joining in the sense of, well, they're chibi looking characters, so you know what type of game that it may look like, where some other turn-based RPGs may look a little different. I enjoyed this game back in the day on the 3DS, and it was a lot of fun to play, and I do enjoy turn-based RPGs normally compared to some action RPGs. If you want to get something that kind of gives you some little cutesy feel but overall gets the taste of the RPG games of old, check out the Legend of Legacy HD Remaster that's available on those consoles that I mentioned before. TerraTech Worlds was released on March 22nd for the PC, and I've never really been a big craft building type of game player like Minecraft, for instance, or even like Fortnite, but this game here for the kids and pretty much adults of all ages can really explore and just wrap themselves into building literally whatever and however they want to in this craft building game. This is a survival where you're going to be going into the world and exploring. You're going to be mining, building, crafting, and even battling your way through the natural hazards and real life enemies that you're going to be encountering while you harness the power of the environment itself. You can play solo or you can play with friends in the via 6-player co-op action. And this game does look pretty interesting overall, with just the different types of mechanics that you're going to be experiencing and planet mastery towards just conquering it using all of the environment has to offer for you. Again, I've never really been a big craft builder type of fan, so this isn't really up my alley of gameplay, but it does look and kind of seems interesting. But if you haven't played any of those types of games like I mentioned earlier, like Minecraft or even like Fortnite for instance, in the sense of first person or third person shooters, check out TerraTech Worlds, which gives you overall pretty much a new aspect into craft building. Cozy simulator games are really starting to become more and more popular as time has progressed on, and I do tend to get into some cozy games every now and again. Like you have Animal Crossing, you have some gardening simulator. Well, a new one has just came out on March 25th, and it's a cozy community sim MMO game called Palia, or Palia if you want to say it in different terms, or how it should be said. In this game, where you're going to be fishing and farming, cooking and catching insects, you're basically going to live off the land and you can treat it as it should be however you feel. In this game, where you're going to be able to interact with people around the world, because as well an MMO, you get to make new friends that can come in and just enjoy the vibrant, colorful world of Palia has to offer you. Now, honestly, like I said, I've never really been a huge cozy fan, but as time has progressed on, the cozy simulator games have become vastly more popular, and they're just nice to kind of get a break from all the crazy shooting and action RPGs and just fighting games that you have around the world. If you want to get into something that you can just sit down, relax, and enjoy colorful aspects of the world and have some fun farming and fishing, this is the game for you. And on top of that, you get to spend it with some friends or even make some new ones online. Check out Palia on PC. It's wild to think that South Park to this very day is still widely popular with fans around the world, and we're still getting new games to this very day. Well, we're getting a new game on the block, and it's been released on March 26th called South Park Snow Day, and it was released for all new generation consoles and the PC. Now, this one's a little bit different compared to the previous South Park games we got over the past few years, where this one's more of a roguelike kind of game, and also it has 2 to 3D style types of elements, which they wanted to kind of go for that more feel this time around compared to the other ones were more 2D aspect, and they were more or less RPGs, turn-based style-wise, compared to this action-based type of gameplay. In this one, all the cast of characters that you know and love are going to make their return, such as Eric, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny, and vastly other ones, where you're going to be garnered with your new customized character called the New Kid, which it was like in the previous games, and you're going on snow-based fights and activities throughout the world of South Park. So don't be surprised with all the craziness that you're going to be seeing in this new South Park game. Check it out if you haven't done so already. I love me when I can just sit down and have a good old-fashioned city builder to expand my horizons and have the freedom of my mind, make an extravagant city of my own and make it look as awesome as I want to. In this game called Bulwark, Falconeer Chronicles, that was released for Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, PS4, and PS5, and even Steam, you get to do just that as well. This game here is where you can literally make the city however you want it, due to the fact that there were prior events 40 years ago to make the world where it was inhabitable, and it's your job to rebuild it however you want. You'll be building such towers, vast cities, and even building airships to control and patrol the entire city just to make sure that your enemies don't come and destroy it. It looks gorgeous, it has beautiful vibrant colors, and you can let your imagination run wild by building trading posts and your overall civilization to look just as masterful as it could possibly be. Explore your horizons in Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles right now if you haven't done so, and let your mind just wander into building the greatest city the world has ever seen. Games like Sid Meier's Civilization was literally one of the greatest games I could have ever said I played, and they've always been fun and enjoyable. Well, there's another game that was also released similar to that type of game on the same day as Bulwark, and it was only for the PC though, and this is Millennia. Now, this game here is literally, if you've ever played the Sid Meier's Civilization games, this is pretty much what you're going to expect. Making sure that you build your nation to go into the new millennia and across 10,000 years of history. You're going to be able to unlock different types of technology and using your ideas to expand your horizons and to make sure that your city, or rather whole nation, conquer those around you and to unlock and use their own technology as well going into the future. I love those types of games because they overall just make me use my imagination, and I have to be strategic to make sure that my civilization does not fall to others out there, and there's going to be enemies out there trying to take over and to destroy you. Check out Millennia at this very point if you haven't done so already. Next up is a 2-for-1 deal where it is literally 2 RPGs all in one awesome package. And these games have stood the test of time, and really is nice to see them getting their own HD remaster, and this highly anticipated for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Yes, I said that right. And this is the GRANDIA HD Collection. This is a unique package that comes with the first 2 GRANDIA games all in one box that you can enjoy on the PlayStation and the Xbox if you've never played these games before. With remastered widescreen graphics, an overall colorful cast of characters in the world around you that looks bright as it could possibly be, this collection of games really showcased themselves back in the day on the Sega Saturn and also the Dreamcast consoles, and to this very day people have been dying to see a resurgence in this series of games because man, they were really fun. I enjoyed these games back in the day when they were on the consoles of old, and to this very day it's nice to see that they're getting some love again. Hopefully we'll even see a remaster of some of the other games after these 2. Also, it is on Switch, so if you didn't know about that, check it out on the Switch as well. On March 26th, a new action RPG game was released for Steam, and this is literally the sequel to the original game called Ender Lilies. This is Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. Now, in this game is a dark fantasy Metroidvania fairy tale where it goes into decades after the events of what Ender Lilies took place in, and where you're going to take control of a character by the name of Lilac, an At-Turner whose powers can purify those by the toxins released from the Land of Fumes. This game is literally a Metroidvania like you've pretty much have seen most Metroidvanias have been, so you know what to pretty much expect. It has this dark and twisted look and feel to it, and overall the dark tones and colors really make this world really grip you in a way that you just want to spend hours upon hours of trying to complete it. Check out Ender Magnolia Bloom into the Mist that's released onto PC right now, and we're going to be seeing it available on other consoles later down the road. And ending the month of March, on March 28th, this was a side-scrolling action-adventure game called Pepper Grinder, published by Devolver Digital and developed by an indie studio called RH, if I said that correct. Pepper Grinder was released for the Switch and the PC, and where you take control of the character by the name of Pepper and her unique sidearm called Grinder, where you're going to be drilling and digging through the dirt, steel, and even the water, and to reclaim your lost treasure when you got stranded on this island against the enemies that you're going to be encountering. With using Grinder, you're going to be doing some crazy cool aerial maneuvers, solving puzzles, navigating the terrain that you're going to be seeing, and fighting a unique cast of different enemies and crazy boss fights. The graphics and the soundtrack immerses you into this game, and by the look of it, it looks like a heck of a lot of fun to play. This is a game that I think is really good to end the month of March off with a wild cast of games that have been coming out already, and to end it off with such a fun game, I think Pepper Grinder is something to put on your list if you haven't gotten it already. Check out Pepper Grinder for the Switch and for the PC. And that ends the month of March for all the hottest new releases. I mean, this month was crazy sick. It was just as bad as February. My wallet is hurting from all the video games that came out at the exact same time. I mean, we got a chance to see some Game of the Year contenders with some weird and wacky, obscure titles and some hidden gems I honestly feel that came out as well for this month. Other than that, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate all the love and support. If you haven't done so and you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Also, like and share and comment with all your friends and family. And also hit that bell to let you know when I drop a new video. Other than that, the king has spoken. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.